I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. We're united today.
And we're making a huge difference. Yeah, all with your help. Can't do without you.
Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., Mile High City, and you've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show. If you're used to listening to Bill and I debate all the politics of the day, that's typically what happens.
Yes.
There's a lot to debate out there, but we'll get to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have united in support of an organization that Bill and I both personally are invested in, and that's Step Denver. The station's invested in it. Peter Boyles is invested in it. Everybody loves this organization. Why? Because simply it works.
Repeat that again.
It helps men.
It works.
It works. And you guys know where we all are on the politics of the day, right? We believe that that a number of those kind of homeless organizations out there are really just kind of fraudulent. They take in tons of taxpayer dollars and they don't ever really do anything. And they're not really incentivized to actually solve any problems. So we're always openly critical of them.
Yes.
And rightfully so. But what you get with Step Denver is an organization that, one, doesn't accept government money, so they're not beholden to it. So they have to deliver results. They have to, or donors won't support them moving forward. And they're motivated to do that. And best of all, from my perspective, they require personal accountability from the men receiving their services. You can't just show up, oh, it's a homeless hotel where you can sit and do drugs. No, not that. You have to step up, take personal responsibility, get in the program, go to work, support your family, and the result, it works. Billy, read back some of those numbers about where men are a year later from once they engage in the program.
This is insane. Think about this. Think about all the government programs. Think about all the other programs that you've heard about. And think about their efficacy. How long the people that come out of the program actually continue the journey. With Step Denver, when they reached out a year afterwards, they were able to contact 85% of the men. Now, 85% of them still sober, 90% of them still in independent housing, and 75% of them still employed. That is an incredible track record.
There's nothing like that. I can tell you from somebody that looks at the reports from all those other government programs, they're not even close. You might get like 20%.
Yeah.
I think that's on there's a dashboard that Mike Johnston has. With the city and the government funding, you might get 20%, 80%.
Yeah.
With Step Denver.
Remember how the government is judging some of these programs. Now, this is not an addiction recovery program that we're going to talk about here, but it was there bringing the migrants and getting them into housing and then getting them into careers. The same path Step Denver is taking these men on, except they were doing it with immigrants and not having to deal with addiction issues. They had just like a handful of immigrants that had come through that got jobs. A handful. Less than 2 hands worth, okay? Not even 10 little fingies. That's how ridiculous their program was. But with Step Denver, a year later, 85% still sober, 90% independently housed, 75% still employed. Those are numbers Mayor Johnston can only dream of reaching. And they do it at Step Denver because they only take your money. They don't rely on federal handouts. They cut the federal strings. That means they get to design the program the way it works. They've been doing it for decades. They have the track record. They've been helping men get healthy year after year after year. You've heard Peter Boyles. You heard Mike Rosen. You heard George Brockler. Now you're hearing Jeff and I. These guys and gals do it right. Their budget is a couple $1 million, yet they turn around and have a $16.5 million impact on our city because they get these men sober, out of programs, and into being functional members of our society. You're hearing the stories of Donnie and Clayton this morning. These guys are wonderful examples of just how good Step Denver is what they do.
Absolutely. You're not going to want to miss this conversation because we've heard the challenges Clayton has had, went from healthcare executive to having to leave his family via divorce and then living in his car, addicted to alcohol, homeless. What is going on? How did he get out of it?
Healthcare executive to living in his car.
Not going to want to miss this conversation. This is powerful. But here's what we want you to do. We want you to go to coloradogives.org/Step Denver and donate right now. Because if you're tuning in, you're listening to a Christmas miracle. Because last year, we were so excited. we had broken records with $12,000 of donations generated during the time our show was on air. We are now north of $27,000. Their goal, $55,000 today. Okay? We need your help. We need you to step up. Every little bit counts. Remember the widow's mite. Remember that story. Yep. It's not about $10,000, although that helps. It's about the widow's mite, right? It's about the impact it's going to have in your life, because I believe the Lord sees that and absolutely recognizes that and blesses you.
Yeah.
So
and remember, they got a matching deal going on this morning. $55,000
right.
up to that. So every dollar you give becomes 2. 5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 20, 20 becomes 40, 50 becomes 100. You see how quickly this adds up? That's the type of impact you can have today. Even a dollar magically doubles immediately thanks to the generosity of the donors down at Step Denver that have seen the program work. And you can supercharge it today. And all you got to do is go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver. coloradogives.org/StepDenver. There is no donation that is too small, because every donation will be doubled.
And powerful, powerful moment. We need your help. Join us. Now is time for news with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Tuesday morning. 46 and cloudy conditions in Denver, but it's really nice out there. Get out there if you can. Expecting a high of 61 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 30377 organizations in Florida. Governor DeSantis made that declaration Monday regarding the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE. And General Mike Flynn posting this morning the DJT needs to break apart the deep state.
Inspector General, and from those IGs report to the SIGI.
Yes.
And it dies.
And are investigated by the SIGI.
And are investigated by the SIGI, and it all dies.
Yes.
That's where whistleblower complaints actually go to die.
If it's against the members of the SIGI.
Unless it's in their interest to prosecute it.
Yes. Politically, yes.
So when people talk about the deep state, in a sense, this is the command and control of a major part of the deep state.
No, it is the command and control of the deep state.
Frightening. Break it up. This is what we voted for. A federal judge has just granted 47 and AG Pam Bondi's request to unseal files from the Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking case, now pushback from the left. How far will this go? DJT confirming that Ukrainian President Zelensky has refused to even read the peace proposal drawn up by him. They don't want peace. No, not really. The National Weather Service has issued a high wind watch for Lakewood, Boulder, Golden, and Arvada. There could be gusts of up to 60 miles an hour at times today. Candace Owens last night discussing Megyn Kelly's interview with FBI Director Kash Patel regarding Charlie's murder and a hit out on Candace.
There's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
Okay, but so far, no.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
Do you want to involve me in you looking at it? Because actually it kind of left me on red There has been no communication with the FBI. You are aware right there. Megyn Kelly is asking you directly about it, so you can't pretend you didn't receive it. And you are choosing to skip over. He completely skips over the part about me having asserted, which Megyn asks him directly, was France involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination? He doesn't even address that. Skips right over it and instead says, if any American has a threat, that's what we're here for. And she's like, okay, but was there actually a threat on if anybody, let's just kind of state it more broadly, we will take it seriously. Well, you're not doing that, Kash Patel.
Stay tuned. It's only Tuesday. The Chargers beat the Eagles last night, 22-19 in overtime. The Chargers are now 9-4. The Avalanche at Nashville tonight. Nuggets at the Kings Thursday. And if you're an old guy fan like me, Colts bringing in 44-year-old Phillip Rivers for a workout today at quarterback because they lost their star quarterback, Indiana Jones, for the season. Who knows if we'll see Phillip Rivers back in uniform soon. 44 in Parker, 45 in Englewood, 46 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill on a very special day with Step. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Other than some windy areas, and there will be plenty of wind along the Front Range and foothills and mountains over the next couple of days, we're going to be looking at mild, dry weather as all the significant weather stays to the north and east of us. Partly cloudy, windy at times, upper 50s and low 60s, low to mid 30s tonight. Mid to upper 50s Wednesday, near 40 Wednesday night. Temperatures will be 50s and 60s Thursday, trending a bit cooler for Friday and into the weekend, but the real cold stays away. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Man, it's that time of the year, Bill, where miracles happen, and we're having one right now. Yes. There's a miracle happening because of the listeners of 710 KNUS and the movement of the Holy Spirit and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's blessing Step Denver right now. This is amazing. Okay, I want to set the table. Last year, we were thrilled. We were so excited because we were able to help raise $12,000 for Step Denver.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was a 710 KNUS record.
Yeah, it was incredible.
We were thrilled. So Step Denver comes back. We're happy to have them. Billy and I happy to support them. We're now north of $28,000.
What?
Yeah, we are at $28,375, which I just need to say thank you to the listeners again. I do want to share one thing that I haven't shared yet this morning. Yeah, there is a homeless contribution tax credit through the state of Colorado. And so if you give $1,000 or more, whatever the amount over $1,000 you donate to Step Denver, you get 25% back from the state. So I just wanted to put that in there. Nice. And thank you all to the listeners. We cannot do this without you. We don't take government funding, so we rely heavily on philanthropy and pretty much everything.
Yeah, I was going to say entirely on
It's entirely on philanthropy. So, yeah, just I can't say how grateful we are enough for the listeners.
To that point, the Cure fan texting in, I just donated on behalf of my best friend here in Colorado, Jeff Harmon. He has a brain tumor, is very sick. So, Cure fan. Man, we met him in person. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
All right, so Clayton's live in studio with us. Clayton, at one time a healthcare executive, mover, shaker, making things happen, married, has 2 boys, but alcohol had consumed him to the point where he ends up living homeless in a car in Colorado Springs. If you missed how he got there, go back to the last hour. You can listen to that on the podcast. But let's start moving forward. Clayton, you've been through a dozen other recovery programs. Why didn't those work? And what was different about Step Denver?
Well, I mean, I think to the credit of those programs, I mean, it was a place where I could go where alcohol wasn't accessible. So it was safe for me in terms of, not going backwards and ending back up in the hospital. And also I got some good, talk therapy from counselors and things like that at those places. The thing that really was missing was, when you go into a place like that, I went in for 60 days, 90 days at a time, your life shuts down. you don't do anything other than their program. And so then you're faced with getting out, and you have nothing really except for that, mental, maybe spiritual growth you experience there, but there's nothing tangible to help you get back into society in a meaningful way. And so it's more tempting to latch back onto that hopelessness and kind of fall back into the abyss. At least that's the way it happened for me. And the difference between that and Step Denver is if you're ready for it, which I got ready for it, not by choice necessarily, but I was eventually ready. Gave us, maybe this is cliche, but they gave us a hand up instead of a hand out. So, come on in, and we're clean, competent. We're run by many people who have been through the same thing you've been through. It's community supported. And you are, after a couple of weeks, you have to have a job. You got to pay your rent there. You have to follow these. I think Donnie talked about the 67 rules.
Yeah.
It's 62. I just want to say it's not that many.
Yeah, big difference right there.
I could come up with 5 more.
Yeah.
I never got penalized for breaking one of those rules, by the way. They're mostly common sense. But a lot of people aren't ready, and they end up breaking them, and they're out. I mean, that's another thing that's great about it is, like, we're serious. The rules are there, and you follow them, or you're not here.
Now, Clayton, I want to interrupt just for a second because it's huge. In fact, friend of the show, longtime radio legend in Denver, Peter Boyles, shares a story years ago with Bob Cote, and he says it's about this time of year, and it is miserable outside. I mean, you're talking about one of those really heavy, wet Denver storms where it is a mess. And it's the son of a radio buddy of his, and the kid's at Step, and he's failed the drug test. And so he's getting kicked out. And so Pete's going down there to talk to Bob, and he's like, come on, this is the son of a friend of mine. We got to do this. Can't you do something for him? And Bob turns to Pete and says, Pete, if I make an exception for him, I got to make an exception. He turns around behind him for that guy over there, and that guy over there, and that guy over there. He's like, here at Step, everybody follows the same rules regardless. That's why they're the rules. He's out. And Pete went, okay, he's out. And he walked the guy out. They're serious about it, and that's why it works.
Wow. You blow a breathalyzer every time you walk in the door, okay? And if you don't pass that, you're out. You can come back in a couple of days and get your stuff.
And that's what happened to that kid.
And actually, you can come back and get your stuff. I think you have 7 days to get your things. We'll hold them for you. But then after that, you have to wait 6 months to come back. And so the reason that rule is in place is because, and Paul, he said that it's just long enough to get miserable again. It is a serious enough consequence that you will take your time there seriously to not get kicked out, because then you cannot come back for 6 months. And so when people do come back, they say, now I know what I'm going to do differently. I can look back at my time back then. I had to wait this long, and now I know where I went wrong, what I can change about myself. And so, and you only get 3 tries, 3 strikes, and you're out.
So, Clayton, you go into this program, it's got the rules. You never violate any of them.
She's rare.
And you talk about kind of the structure that it provides for you. So tell us and describe to the listeners what's happening in your life as you're going through this program.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, before I got there, what helped me be ready was just desperation.
Yeah, what was that rock bottom moment, Clayton? What was that moment that you're like, I got to do this thing? You've been through those, and I'll refer to them, the other more professional groups out there, the rinse cycles, where they get you through, they rinse you, they get you clean, they kick you out the door. But that's not what Step Denver does. It's, as you said, it's a hand up, not a hand out. So what was that rock bottom moment that you turned to Step and said, this is the doorway I have to walk through?
I was in Colorado Springs, living in my car after a detox, shaking, cramping, still going through withdrawals. It was cold. I was in front of a Waffle House in a parking lot in my car, and I was like, I have to have a choice to make. I think it was providence, divine intervention or something, because I can't explain exactly why I was ready to decide whether at that moment whether I wanted to die or whether I wanted to live. But I decided I wanted to live, and my children had a lot to do with that. And myself, in terms of being a meaningful member of society, I decided I wanted to live, and that even though I'd been through hell and back 15 times, I had the energy to do it. And so I asked a couple of my fellow AA members, who were old guys who've been sober for a long time, to just help me get someplace. And I said I thought I might want to go to Denver. I thought I might want to go to Stout Street, but that wasn't for me. But they were nice enough to give me an Uber over to Step Denver, and that's when I saw what was going on there, and I wanted in that day, and I got in that day. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow at 2:30." I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I was literally just me and my stuff, and because I had asked those guys from AA in Colorado Springs to hide my car. I said I can't pay for it. I can't deal with it. They don't want me. They don't want to repossess it. They said you'll get back eventually, and blah blah blah. So I left my car, left everything, and I got into Step Denver, and I was just filled with gratitude after all I'd had to try to figure out on my own and all the pain I went through, to have a place that understood the people there who had been through this, the environment that was not fancy but acceptable, and that with a structure that allowed me to take step by step back into a normal life. I had a whole new perspective. I wanted to simplify everything. Executive, I don't need anymore. My two boys had aged out of the house and stuff, so I didn't have the same obligations. I do have a daughter also who I did have an obligation to financially, but it wasn't as big a burden, and I wasn't trying to follow my dad's footsteps sort of unwittingly, like I had been in the past, kind of like looking for approval and trying to be that. I decided I'm going to just do something that that allows me to carry out my goals in life now, and I simplified all my goals and philosophy and spirituality into three things. One was just to be useful to other people, because it's all about the people, stupid, right? And I realized that during all that, and to stay healthy doing it, sober included in that, and then to enjoy the ride. Those three things what has got me through that and got me to where I am now.
Tell us where you are now.
Yeah, well, I got a job, making hot dogs when I was,
while you were
a couple
in
weeks
there.
in
Yeah.
there.
Nice.
And I was at Biker Gyms, which is no longer, but I'm not sure what happened to it. But while I was there, I ended up getting a job at a really nice restaurant called Urban Farmer in the Oxford Hotel, and it's under the umbrella of a large billion-dollar corporation. So it was a really solid job in the kitchen, because I've always loved to cook. And I advanced there and learned along the way how to take care of knives. And my chef was a student of one of the best knife makers in the world, taught me and helped coach me. He gave me a not so good knife to start with, and then eventually gave me feedback, showed me what to do, got me to where I was bringing home his workhorse and sharpening it for him, his carbon steel Japanese knife at this restaurant. And then everyone else started saying, well, he's the guy who sharpens the knives. And I was like, there's something here, you know, and in other restaurants in Denver, because not all cooks know how to sharpen their own knives, but they need them every day, all day. And so I figured I would start a side business and be a knife sharpener. And
I love it.
Yeah, I was.
The entrepreneurial spirit comes right back once he gets that alcohol out of the way.
Oh, it was great. And so I call it Sharp Old Goat because I'm the old goat. It started picking up really quickly, you know.
Good for you.
To the point where I could leave. Maybe a year ago or so I left, and now I'm doing it full time. And I branched off into importing and restoring vintage Japanese kitchen knives. So if you go to my website, you can buy my
and what's the web? Give the people the website.
Yeah, it's sharpoldgoat.com. It's pretty easy. Yeah.
These are the moments I just love God, because God takes you on that journey. I mean, think about
it happen too.
I mean, you're like in a whole different realm that I bet you could have never even imagined.
Mm-mm. No, and now it's really great because I'm happy, you know, happier. And I'm doing something useful. Maybe not. I'm not testifying to Congress anymore, you know. But I'm still a useful part of this community, and I'm getting to interact with people and build something.
And tell us how things with the family are going. Have you been able to restore some of those relationships?
Absolutely.
Really? Tell me
Yeah.
about
Just I took it slow when I first got to Step Denver. Like I said, I was at below zero. My goal was to get to zero at Step Denver and then build from there once I was out. And so I was there for 6 months. But I didn't really, I wasn't vocal or trying to make anything happen. Mm-hmm. I was just trying to do what I needed to do to achieve my 3 goals. And I wanted the rest, the universe or God, to take care of. You know, show me, you know, what do you want? You know, what way should it go? I know I'm doing the right thing by, you know, taking care of myself and making myself present again. But let the other stuff fall into place, and it really has. I mean, my children have been here visiting me multiple times. I'd take my daughter for a week at a time without her mother. You know, this is like really big stuff for me. You know, huge milestones. I'll go to Christmas, you know, in New Orleans, and see my ex-wives and kids and participate. And for Thanksgiving, I went to see my siblings. You know, so none of that was happening during those years where I was floundering. You know, and miserable.
I mean, it is so cool. It's so cool to see, Bill.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Clayton is a man that has been through hell, has a great spirit about him, energetic. I can oftentimes feel like you can tell about where somebody is by looking in their eyes, right? His eyes are clean, they're bright, they're energetic. And when you talk about his kids and being invested in family, and then his entrepreneurial spirit, so he's got it back, man. He's got it back.
I have to interject and tell a story.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're okay with this, but I'm gonna tell how I even know about Clayton at this point. Clayton decided to give back to Step Denver and made a donation. And I ended up calling him to say thank you. And we had this conversation, which is why he's on the show now. But he gave enough to get the tax credit. That's how much his business is successful. And he said, I want to give back now. I have this money that I didn't have before, and I want to help the next guy that comes in the door. And so I just wanted to call you out in that way, which I know we're not supposed to do in recovery. But it's an incredible thing to see somebody that went through the program who was homeless, who went from being an executive to below zero to now. And he told me too, you know, we're both in recovery, so we were talking about.
I was going to ask you about. You've hinted at this.
Yeah, and so, you know, we were talking about our recovery, and he was telling me, you know, it's all about riding the wave, right? Like with God, or the universe brings whatever into your life, and you just ride the wave, and it just works out if you let go of trying to control everything. And so now he's got this sharp old goat business, and he was telling me, I mean, you should tell the story about how you put a picture on Instagram of an old knife, and after he redid it, and now his business is taken off and he's selling all over the world, right? I mean, what a story. Like, what a success story. And now he's giving back to the place that helped him change his life. So I just needed to tell that story.
I mean, what it does is it validates the work, right? So he's gone through the program. We hear the story. Wow. But now, I mean, just think about, there's no other program that I know that's like this, where people go through it, then invest back into it because it works. And they want to see the next guy have that same opportunity.
And
the whole time I was there, I was full of gratitude. Okay, I mean, a lot of guys were not quite there. You know, they're like this, you know, feeling wronged and all this. I'm like, dude, 62 rules is nothing compared to where you're going to end up if you don't succeed in this. So, you know, and your whole community is supporting it. You know, you're lucky to be here. So, you know, shut it, dude, and get after it. I said to myself, you know, I will give, once I'm in a spot to give back to this program, I want to give back to it. And it came quicker than I thought, but I'll keep doing it because there is nothing like it. I mean, it worked for me when 12 other, you know, prestigious recovery programs didn't.
Now
there you go.
That's it. That is the message of the morning. Step Denver worked when a dozen of those other more prestigious recovery programs didn't. That's the impact you can have today by going to coloradogives.org/stepdenver, coloradogives.org/stepdenver. These guys and gals are doing it right, and you can change lives this morning. And it gets even better because there is a $55,000 matching grant that is on the table thanks to some generous donors, which means every dollar you give is automatically doubled. You drop 10 this morning, it becomes 20. You drop 100, it becomes 200. Even if you can only spare 5, that becomes 10. So you can double whatever fits inside your budget. That is huge this morning. We've already shattered the morning show record here on KNUS. I cannot believe y'all have stepped up like this. It is a blessing from God. coloradogives.org/stepdenver, coloradogives.org/stepdenver. When we get back, Clayton, I'm going to ask you about spending that time with your family sober over the holidays, how it changed your interactions with them. And also, I want to talk about the reactions of your 2 boys who are older and your younger daughter the first time they got to hang out with sober dad. I want to hear that story.
I can't wait to hear that. Guys, we only have 25 minutes left. We need to continue to push to get those donations and help us shatter an absolute 710 KNUS record. Join us right now by going to coloradogives.org/stepdenver. We'll continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
We're changing lives. This is Denver's top talk station. We change everything today, and you can be a part of it. We are 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to a very special Jeff and Bill show. You might be tuning in, listening to Billy and I throw down the latest political battle, but we are united today. Oh, yeah, or which pizza?
Yeah.
Well, you get a pineapple on
toppings.
pizza. By the way, Amy's spent some time in Maui. Are you a pineapple on pizza type of person?
Oh, I'll have pineapple on anything.
See? That's delicious. Billy goes, there should be no fruits or vegetables on.
No
or
veggies.
No
I'll do
fruit.
veggies, but no fruits.
fruits. But then people
No
are like,
fruit.
tomatoes are fruit. But then
That's true.
Bill
No,
tries
it's
to
not.
wiggle out of that
Oh, it's
one.
not. It's not a wiggle thing. It's the idea of even since Reagan said it was
I'm
a
sorry.
vegetable.
I got him.
Yeah, you got me going on this one. Okay, if we think that tomato is the same type of fruit as a pineapple is, you go make a pineapple sauce, put it on your pizza, and get back to me. Then I'll talk to you about tomato being a fruit. Until then,
that exists.
Pineapple sauce
That
sounds
exists.
really good.
You
I
can make
know.
a pineapple sauce and put it on your pizza.
and those are psychotic people, and they should not be allowed in public.
Okay, I'll see you later.
This is where the show goes.
This is what it's typically like.
Yes, it
so
is, all the
Billy
time.
and I were united together to support Step Denver. Today's a big day. Okay, it's Colorado Gives Day, which means there's a lot of matches going out there. But Step Denver had two major donors step up. They're doing a match up to $55,000. We're pushing hard to break records on this show today. So please go to coloradogives.org/Step Denver. Support an organization that, whether you're right, left, or center, you can get behind, because at the end of the day, it works. All right, I want to get to Clayton. Billy, you asked Clayton a few questions.
Yeah, Clayton, what I want to talk to you about is you've gone through the Step Denver program now, and you're sober, and you've talked about going back and seeing both ex-wives, reconnecting with the older kids that you have, the older boys, and the younger daughter. What I want to talk to you about is getting back together with the family. During the holiday times, what's it like having that experience sober, but most importantly, what's it like connecting with the older boys and your younger daughter as a sober dad? How has that changed things in your life?
It's night and day. I mean, like I said before, I overuse it, but it's all about the people. Stupid. And to me, those relationships make my life worth living. So I eased into it. I was careful not to be too aggressive or try to control, like Amy was saying, control things. Just letting it happen, and letting them come to their own conclusions about my, whether I'm worth hanging out with or not. And, after several months, even a year, I started easing my way back in. Just at their request, talking to them, inviting my boys and then my girl to Denver to hang out. I'd get a place at one of my I got a great discount when I worked at Urban Farmer, because they also, the company that operates them operates a bunch of hotels. So I go to the Embassy Suites, get a room, and we just hang out in Boulder or in Denver. And it was just great, to reunite with them. My son, who lives in Bozeman now, he's 22. We'll get on text and we'll start having 7 conversations at once, replying to this message, that. We have so many common interests. That's great. That is awesome. We both love music and the outdoors and all that stuff. My daughter is less wary of me. I'm consistent with her, talk to her twice a week on FaceTime, and had her come, and we did a bunch of fun stuff together, and she was great. And then my siblings, and their kids. I get what the difference is I get to be a normal part of that. I'm not anything special. Like I said, I got myself back to zero and started building from there. I don't look for a pat on the back for what I did. I got myself into trouble, and then I got myself out.
But I think there's a lot to recognize and to celebrate in that, because look, I think there's a cultural aspect that says, well, it's always somebody else's fault, that's the reason I am. But also, it's not easy to come back from what you did.
No.
And there's a lot of people that end up dead as a result of it. I think a lot of us have lost friends as a result of addiction. And so to see people come back, That's huge.
Oh, it's huge
Yeah.
in part because, as Clayton was telling us last hour, that at times early in his life when he was in the grips of addiction, he was planning his day, his weeks, his month, his vacation around his opportunities to get as drunk as possible, as fast as possible. But now he experiences life and experiences family, friends, and the kids as a sober individual. And that's got to be remarkable, Clayton, the fact that now you are finding the happiness not inside of that bottle. You're not finding the escape inside of that bottle, but you're finding it with your kids. You're finding that happiness in those relationships, the things that the alcohol had gotten in the way of for so many years. Now is the reward.
Yeah, I mean, it takes alcohol is not even a part of the equation for me anymore, because if I know that if I start, I'll be sick and stupid. I mean, why would I want to be sick and stupid after all that? I mean, really, I was sick and other things, but those are the biggest, like, duh.
But isn't it amazing? It used to have such a hold. Now he wants nothing to do with it. That's the power right there of Step
That's
Denver,
it.
their program. These guys are lives changed right before your own eyes. And best of all, they're contributing back to society. They're contributing to their families. That impacts a lot of lives. All right, go right now. We're up against the final end of the hour. We'll give you the total amount here coming up in a second. But please, right now, go to coloradogives.org/StepDenver, coloradogives.org/StepDenver. Help us set a record level donation today. Go right now. Please donate. We only have a few minutes left of the show. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
All right, Billy, you ready for the final number
Yes,
today?
I am.
All right, last year, record-breaking number, $12,000 raised. This year, $33,200.
What? Holy crap.
All because of our listeners. You all are amazing. We love you.
I don't know what to
Continue
say.
to support them through the rest of the day. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
You made me speechless. 710 CAN US.